Welcome to the library's Systematic Reviews and Meta-Analysis Workshop. My name is Kira Litvin, and I'm a reference librarian here at NCU Library. Today's workshop will introduce you to resources which can be used to locate systematic reviews and meta-analysis studies. It will provide students with techniques to become more effective at searching for this type of information. I will be following along with the workshop outline, and I'll show you how you can access all of the library's workshop videos that have been recorded, as well as the outlines and the audio transcript if you wish to follow along. Here under Research Help, click on Learn the Library. And on our Learn the Library guide, click on Library Workshop Videos, or just put your mouse over it, and actually you'll see a link for the workshop outlines. And here you can find all of the workshop outlines available. Here's the one for our workshop today, Systematic Reviews and Meta-Analysis Workshop Outline. And you can simply click on that to download the MS Word document. If you also wish to review the video recording after today's workshop, you can click on the workshop transcripts. All of the videos are here where it says Library Workshop Videos, and these are the recorded versions of our live workshops, so you can always come back here and watch this video as a refresher. So let's go back to the library's homepage. Our learning objectives are, upon completion of this workshop, we hope that students will know how to access the library's research process, systematic reviews, and meta-analysis page, understand the difference between a systematic review and a meta-analysis study, identify and use the appropriate databases and journals for finding information on systematic reviews and meta-analysis, and identify and use appropriate internet resources for finding these types of documents. So let's begin by going to our research process guide. So again, under Research Help on the orange menu bar, let's click on Research Process. And our Systematic Reviews and Meta-Analysis page is located under Resources for a Literature Review. And here we'll find the Systematic Reviews and Meta-Analysis page. Now, I do recommend bookmarking this page. You can always come back here to this page to access many of the databases that I will demonstrate in today's workshop. You can also access other links that are provided in the outline, or if you just simply want an easy way to access all of the things that we'll cover in today's workshop, plus some additional information, then this is a great page to come back to. I'll also point out, let's go back to the library's homepage for a moment, all of the databases that we'll discuss today are also available by clicking on our A to Z databases page, which is linked here at the very top of the library's homepage on that orange menu bar. So back to our research process systematic reviews page. We begin by looking at this evidence pyramid, and our outline also describes that systematic reviews and meta-analysis are situated at the very top of that evidence pyramid. As you move up the pyramid, the amount of available literature on a topic decreases, but the relevancy and quality of that literature increases. So as we can see here from this evidence pyramid, that meta-analysis and systematic reviews, while they're located at the very top of the pyramid, they represent very highly regarded and high quality evidence within scholarly literature. So locating systematic reviews and meta-analysis would probably be some of the pinnacle types of research that you'll locate as you're working on your doctoral research, or if you are building a literature review or annotated bibliography. So let's scroll down this page just a little bit, and we do have two boxes, and this information is similar as to what's on your outline. On the first box here is about systematic reviews, and it does provide a little overview and definition. A systematic review is a high-level overview of primary research on a particular research question that systematically identifies, selects, evaluates, and synthesizes all high-quality research evidence relevant to that question in order to answer it. So it is an exhaustive summary of scholarly literature related to a particular research topic or question. It's often written by a panel of experts after reviewing all the information from both published and even unpublished studies. Evidence-based treatment or evidence-based practice does fall within this category of systematic reviews, and you will find that many of the systematic reviews originate in the biomedical field, and they do form the basis of decision-making in evidence-based treatment. We do have a link here if you'd like to explore further a little bit more about systematic reviews. This is a page available from our database called Credo Reference from the A to Z Book of Social Research. Just below it, we have a box that similarly describes what a meta-analysis is, and that is a systematic review that uses a statistical technique to combine data from the examined individual research studies and uses that pooled data to come to a new statistical conclusion. And this is called a meta-analysis. So it is a much more structured and scientific or analytical way to review similar type of research from systematic reviews. And again, you can click on this link below to learn a little bit more about meta-analysis from a reference book called the Concise Corsini Encyclopedia of Psychology and Behavioral Sciences. Finally, as we scroll down a little bit, we have a page, and again, it's similar to what's provided in your outline, but it does tell us a little bit more about how we can search and find these types of reviews in the library, as well as there are some resources that we'll look at available outside the library. Locating systematic reviews and meta-analysis is extremely beneficial, not only because they provide high quality evidence, but also because they will include extensive references to primary studies that are relevant to your research topic. So just below this here, we do have another link for our recorded version of our video, as well as the outline and the transcript. So it's just located here on this page just to make easier access for you. Okay, so moving on to part 5 of our outline, we're going to begin looking at the resources available, and I'll demonstrate many of the ways that we can search within these databases to find these types of resources. One thing that I will point out is that there are some systematic reviews that are not published in peer-reviewed journals. You will find that some are available from peer-reviewed journals and some may not be. So just keep that in mind when you are searching, that there may not always be a peer review limiter. But I will point that out as we come across which particular databases or other sources are specifically peer-reviewed and which may not be. So here in this box, we have a number of different tabs, and we'll work through some of these different tabs. First, we're going to be looking at library databases, and then we'll look at a specific journal that's available called Systematic Reviews, and we'll look at some websites. There are some additional resources here, such as articles and books and tutorials and guides. So I do recommend coming back to this page and exploring those in more depth. So let's get started with looking at some of these specific databases. We're going to start with a database called CINAHL with full text. So we can simply access this database by clicking on this link here. But remember, I did mention that you can access all of the library's databases and many of the databases here on this page from our A to Z databases page. But we have easy access right here. Also keep in mind that just below the database is description of how to use some of the database features or these filters, which I will walk you through, but all of those notes and information are here on this page as well as on your outline. So you don't have to memorize this information. You can always come back here to this page or consult your outline for how to navigate the database once you're inside it. So I'm going to click on CINAHL with full text, and this will open the database in a new tab. Now I will click on the advanced search link. That's just here below the search box. So we are on the basic search page, but to access the filters that we need for systematic reviews, we need to click on advanced search. Now we're here on the advanced search page, and we can begin by typing a term in this box at the top of the screen. And if you have used some of our EBSCOhost databases or our Roadrunner Search, it does look very similar. Many of the databases we'll use today are on a similar platform, so they do have a similar look. You can tell which database you're searching by just simply looking just above the search boxes, and here it says searching CINAHL with full text. Below the search boxes, we have a lot of search options. Don't get overwhelmed. We don't need all of these search options. We only need what's been defined on our outline. So we're looking for publication type And the value that's applied should be called systematic reviews. Now, we do also have a couple of other options. If we could, at the very same time, search for meta-analysis and or metasynthesis, which is something that's a little bit even more exotic we haven't even talked about yet. So there are these three options available. To keep it simple, I'm just going to look for that publication type box, and we're going to scroll through that box, and we're going to select systematic reviews. And there it is, systematic review. That's the only one I need to select right now. I don't need any of these other filters or options right now. I'm just going to go back up to the top search box, and now I'm going to type my search terms. I'm going to search for public health. And I am putting quotation marks around this exact phrase. Remember, 2 or more words we want to put in quotation marks. And I'm also going to search for my terms within the title. So here from where it says select a field optional, I'm going to select the option title. That means I want to find my term, public health, within the title of the document. We'll go ahead and click search. So our results show us that we received 93 results with the words public health in the title. And if we scroll down here and look where it says source types, I can see that my types are primarily academic journals. I also can look and see that my limiter has been applied, and that limiter is up here in the refine results box. So for any reason, if I wanted to remove this limiter, I could just simply click on that X. But remember that if I do, I'm only finding all kinds of resources with public health in the title, and it's not limited to the specific type of publication, which is a systematic review. So let's go ahead and click on one of the titles, and we can see more information about this result. We can see that it was published in 2015. It is coming from a journal called Addiction. I can also scroll down and see the full abstract of this review here. And I can click on that PDF to download this systematic review. If we go back to our results list, if we wanted to, we could resort this list by looking at date newest. So I simply click on Relevance, and I can resort this to date newest to see the most recent publications with my terms. So this is an example looking at one particular database, CINAHL with full text. Now we're going to go ahead and look at another database available. I'll just show you our page again. We're just going to scroll down here, and we're going to look at the next one called Medline with full text. Now, if I go back here to CINAHL, I can simply click Choose Databases to just change the database that we were looking at. Here, I'm going to go ahead and click on Medline Complete or Medline with full text. We can click on both of these. So now I've selected Medline full text and Medline Complete. Again, it's taken me back to this basic search page, but I want to be on the advanced search because I do have specific criteria that I want to select to make my search more precise. So here in Medline, we're actually looking for a different box, and this one is called Subject Subset. So remember, in CINAHL, we selected publication type, but now our instructions tell us that for Medline, we need to select subject subset. So I'm going to scroll through this box and select systematic reviews. We'll keep our search the same. We're still searching for public health. And you can see here that this database has kept this code TI, which stands for title. If you didn't see that there, let's go ahead and just remove that. We can just simply click from the Select a Field Optional and select Title. Let's click Search. And here we're actually getting even more results, 250 with public health, and the type of document is a systematic review. When I showed you this Choose Databases option, we could actually search for Medline and CINAHL at the same time. That would probably be a slightly more efficient search, even though there's a slightly different way to narrow that publication type, or in this case, we're narrowing it to subject subset. So it is possible, but to be sure that we're getting exactly the type of publication that we want, a systematic review, then we would want to use that individual database. So here again, quite a lot of results that we've located in this database. We probably need to add additional keywords or phrases to narrow the scope of our search. You can also always click on subject here on the left side of the screen, and that would be another way to narrow the scope of your search. They'll show you the top 6 subject headings assigned to these results, but if you click on show more, you can see all of the subject headings assigned to these results. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close that. If you're used to using our Roadrunner search, you may be familiar with seeing that peer review publication limiter, peer review or scholarly/peer review, but we don't have that option here. So it is something to keep in mind that some of the sources that these articles may be coming from are certainly going to be scholarly, but they may not all be from peer-reviewed journals. So we do have information in the library's website about using a database called Ulrich's Web to determine if a journal is peer-reviewed. Okay, so we're going to go back to our systematic review and meta-analysis page. Psycinfo is also available from the EBSCOhost databases that we were looking at, but I'm going to go ahead and click on it right here just so we can see another way to access this database. Looks very similar to what we've already been looking at, but here we're looking at Psycinfo. I will point out that the 2 databases that we've previously have looked at, CINAHL and Medline, are more oriented to allied health, medicine, and sciences, although you will find some psychology and other types of counseling topics. They can be listed in those databases. However, Psycinfo is specifically dedicated to topics within psychology and counseling. So if that is your subject area, that's something to keep in mind. You'll also find in Psycinfo topics that are related to education. Again, I want to be on the advanced search. And in Psycinfo, we want to limit our search results to systematic reviews within the methodology box. Let's look for methodology. So I do see it down here in the lower right of this search options, and we'll look for systematic review. So as I've already pointed out too, it would be possible to search for both the meta-analysis and a systematic review at the same time. You can simply hold down the control key and select more than one item in these boxes. So let's go ahead and try that. We'll search for both systematic reviews and meta-analysis in one search here in Psycinfo. And you can certainly do that in some of the other databases, Medline and CINAHL, that we've looked at. So here in Psycinfo, I'm going to search just for the word stress. And as you've noticed so far, I am using really basic terms. When it comes to systematic reviews, the more narrow you make your search, the less options you may find for results. So it is best to start with a more broad search. And then once you have a sense of the scope of the literature within your topic area, then you can narrow it down. But you'll find that there are not as many articles that are systematic reviews or meta-analysis like you may find just regular scholarly journal articles. And I'm going to select from that field code title, and we'll click search. So we got quite a lot of results, and that's mostly because we're combining our search for both meta-analysis, which I can see here in this very first result in the title. And if I scroll down a little bit more, I might be able to see that there's quite a lot. This 4th result says it is a systematic review. So if you're finding that you're getting too many results, we could definitely narrow the focus by changing our limiter and removing one or the other limiter. But quite a lot of results. Probably in this search, we would want to add an additional keyword or subject term to narrow the scope of our search. All right, so we've had a look at Psycinfo. We're going to go back to our page here. There's a couple of other items that are listed here, PubMed and Roadrunner Search. I'm just going to skip over them for a moment, and let's go to one more database called Web of Knowledge. Web of Knowledge is a really unique database. It is actually a citation database, so it doesn't typically have the full text, although you will find a link to full text articles if available in NCU Library. But it is a citation database, so that's one of the great advantages of it. So using these basic search boxes here on the home page, We've clicked on Web of Science or Web of Knowledge, but just notice that it's also called Web of Science. So to begin with our search, I'm just going to search for the word obesity. And I'm going to change this field code from topic to title like we have been doing. And I'm going to click here to add another field. And in this case, I'm going to type systematic review again as a phrase, and I am going to look for that in the title. Since we have been finding that this term systematic review tends to appear in the title. Certainly could be in the abstract, and there could be other field codes that define it, but this may be one of the fastest ways to search for it. We'll go ahead and click search, and we can see that we got 281 results. They are showing us results in publication date from the newest to oldest. That's the default sort. But if we change this sort from times cited, highest to lowest, we can find some of the most influential articles that have been highly cited by changing this sort. So now that we've changed the sort, we can see that this very first result was actually published in 2007, but it's been cited over 1,200 times by other scholarly publications. So just keep in mind that that's one of the values of using Web of Science or Web of Knowledge database, is having a look at what types of studies or research articles. You can certainly search for regular journal articles here, but in this case, we're looking at systematic reviews and meta-analysis that have been highly cited. So again, if you're really trying to comb the literature and exhaust the literature for your literature review or your doctoral research, then this can be a really excellent way to narrow down that research. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move away from Web of Science. One of the next things we'll have a look at is how we can search using our Roadrunner search to find systematic reviews. And you can see here on this page that we have a screenshot or an image that's showing you an example of how to set up a search. And I'll just show you that and demonstrate that as well. So to access Roadrunner Search, we could click on this link, but the easiest way is just to go back to the library's homepage. I always recommend clicking on Advanced Search. This search box right here is just too small and simple to do an advanced search. So let's click on the Advanced Search link, and we can begin searching within Roadrunner Search. And here I'll type ESL, or English as a Second Language. And I'm looking for studies that have looked at English as a Second Language learners, or ESL, within college or university. So I'm using a nesting phrase here, two similar words on the same line, separated by the word or. And finally, in the last box, I am going to type systematic review. And again, I'm going to limit that to the title, because we're finding that systematic review or the word meta-analysis, they are appearing in the title. If you are working on doctoral research and you're doing an exhaustive literature review, I do not recommend limiting to full text. The library does offer an interlibrary loan service that's free of charge. So for any article that you're unable to locate in full text in the library, you can always request it through our interlibrary loan service. So let's go ahead and click search and see what kinds of results we get. So we got 201 articles that are related to ESL, college or university, and have systematic review in the title. So it's a pretty good search. We may need to narrow it a little bit more, but it looks like we got quite a good set of results. So now we're going to move on and go back to our systematic reviews page. I do want to look at PubMed. Go ahead and click on PubMed. PubMed is an open access website. It's provided by the U.S. National Library of Health, National Institutes of Health. It is an open access website, and it provides systematic reviews that cover a broad set of articles that build consensus on biomedical topics and medical genetics. It also includes meta-analysis, reviews of clinical trials, evidence-based medicine, consensus development, conferences, and guidelines. So let's look at how we can conduct a search here. It is a little tricky, and there are lots of different ways that you can learn how to use PubMed, but I'm going to show you a very basic way that we can search. So we're going to start searching for our terms. I'm going to use family therapy, and again in quotation marks for an exact phrase. And we'll go ahead and click search. And once we're on the search results page, this is the easiest way to narrow our search. Now, I did this search right before the workshop, and it's retained my search options here. Have a look over here underneath where it says article types. And here we have an option to click on customize, and a whole bunch of different article types will come up. Well, clinical trial is almost always the default. We're going to uncheck that because we don't want clinical trial. But if we scroll down, we do get two options. One is a review and one is systematic reviews. So we'll keep them both checked, and then we'll go ahead and click show. I think because it's retaining my search from previous. What would happen is, let me show you one more. So let me select something that's not already selected, like meta-analysis. I will check mark it here, and I'll click show. And then in order for it to filter my search, I need to check it again by clicking on it. Notice how now all three are check marked. It dramatically increased my results. Sometimes you'll find articles that have been printed ahead. Let me see if we can click on meta-analysis to remove that. Yeah, so I clicked on it again, it removed that check mark. I'm going to click on review to remove that option. And now I have about 435 results for my search terms, family therapy, and limited to an article type, systematic review. Now let me click on one of these articles just to point out what I meant before by when you search within PubMed from NCU Library, you are getting a link to our article linker. And this is what we recommend looking for. There are two links here. There's one here and there's one here. But when you see that article linker, because PubMed doesn't always make available full text articles, we'll go back to our results screen in a moment and I'll point out what may be full text. But if you want to check to see if this article is available in NCU Library, then click on our article linker. So let's do that and I'll show you what happens. We'll open in a new tab and it's going to actually check NCU Library to see where this article is available. It is available. This is the same article we just found, and here we can download that full text article. Published in the Journal of Marital and Family Therapy, which is a well-known peer-reviewed journal for this field, and systematic review is in the title. So we know that we found the type of resource that we're looking for. If we go back to our PubMed and we'll go back to our results, there are some other options. If we scroll down the screen, here we see something that says free PMC article. So if we click on this one, we know that the full text will be made available right here, either on the page or by clicking this PMC full text free. So PubMed can be a very valuable resource. Again, it is an open access source, which means you don't have to access it through the library, but I do recommend accessing it either on our A to Z page or on our systematic reviews page, because we do have a custom link that will let you know whether NCU Library has access to that full text article. So one of the items that I did skip over on our outline, if you're following our outline, was a journal. So let's go and click on that journals tab here in our resources box. And one of the journals that I'd like to show you is called actually Systematic Reviews. And it is a peer-reviewed journal. So we'll go ahead and click on it. This journal is available in a database called Gale Academic OneFile, and here we're looking at the publication page in this database. It's showing us all the recent issues and volumes. So we could certainly browse by the most recent issue if we want to. We'll just go ahead and click on that, and we see that there are two. One is a report and one is actually an article. If we go back to that publication homepage, we have an option over here on the right side of the screen where we can search within the publication. So let's say I'm interested in searching for the topic of exercise. I can type that in the box and click the search button or enter on my keyboard. And here I can see some results, and even it's generally sorted by relevance. So I can simply click on the title to get more information about this article. Looks like the full text is usually printed here on the screen, but I can also download that PDF here, clicking on that blue button and it turns orange. So that's a journal called Systematic Reviews, and it is available here. We do link it here on this page under journals. Another tool that I'd like to point out is a website called Campbell Systematic Reviews, and they are a bi-monthly peer-reviewed publication, follow structured guidelines and standards for summarizing the international research evidence on the effects of interventions in crime and justice, education, international development, and social welfare. So it does cover a couple of other topics that are a little bit outside of what we've looked at so far. Their Campbell Systematic Reviews is an open access source that does make their reviews freely available. So you don't have to access this from NCU Library. And I just point that out and just to know that it is a highly reputable and authoritative source for systematic reviews, and it is peer reviewed. So here on this home page, we have a couple of options. You can see that there are some featured reviews up here at the top. There's a search box here just below that. And there's also Campbell Systematic Reviews just below that, where we could browse by topic. So for example, if I click on crime and justice, I would be able to browse by some of the most recent editions. If I go ahead and search, I could do a keyword search here in this search box. I'm going to search for the word delinquency. Looks like it returned results. Let's click on the second one that seems to have the word delinquency in the title. And when I look at this, and as I scroll down the screen, I can see some brief information about this review. There's a lot of files available. So there is a legend that explains what they are. We have a review, a previous version, protocol, so something called other, and plain language summary. You can download all the files at one time. In most cases, you're probably just looking for the review itself. So if you click on that little arrow down, that's going to allow you to download the PDF. It looks like it downloaded into my browser. I'm using Chrome, and I just clicked on it, and I can open the review and then save this full text PDF review. So that is Campbell Systematic Reviews. Let's go back to our Systematic Reviews page. On our outline, we also, Campbell Systematic Reviews is listed under Internet Resources. Let's click here on Websites, and we can look at a few others that I'd like to point out. The Cochrane Library is another excellent source. It is freely available, but not all of the reviews are available in full text. Again, it is peer reviewed, and they do cover human health care and health policy topics. It is highly regarded in the scholarly literature and within scholarly community for the quality of their reviews. Let's go ahead and click on the Cochrane Library. And here on this page is a search box at the very top where I could conduct a search, or I do also have the option to browse by topic underneath where it says Cochrane Reviews. I'll go ahead and do a quick search here in this box, search for sleep. And I can see that this has returned 229 results. And I would probably want to look most likely for the ones that have that little open lock. These are the ones that are going to mean that full text is available. I can click on the title of the first one just so we can have a look. And this is a study that includes the search terms that I entered. I have the option to download that PDF just over here on the left side. I'll click on it. It gives me 3 different options. I'll click on the full PDF just so you can see what that looks like. And again, I've downloaded that full PDF, and I can save it now to wherever I save my full text documents. Okay. So the Cochrane Library would be a good source, but just keep in mind that not all of the reviews published here are all available in full text. Let's look at one more source that is listed on your outline under Internet Sources. We'll go back to our Systematic Reviews page, and this one is called Prospero. Prospero is an international database of over 2,000 prospectively registered systematic reviews in health and social care. So that means that not all the publications that you'll find in your search have been published reviews. Some of them may be in progress or being considered for reviews. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to click on that filtered search option. I found I got better results when I did this because I have these filters. Search for depression. And what I want to point out is that you will see some completed reviews and ongoing reviews. You can see that here in this review status. So if we click on these little arrows, it will then kind of sort our results either by update, published, or if we scroll down further or maybe go to the next page, we might see some of those ongoing. But just to give you an idea of what you would find if we click on the title of one of these, this is what it looks like. I have options over here to print or to download the PDF. And here I've downloaded the PDF of this systematic review. All right, so it looks like we've come to cover most of the items that are listed on our outline. And as you can see, there's many more items available here on the websites page. You can also browse the articles and books page, as well as other tutorials and guides to see other guides that are available. There are some guides here for some of the sources that we've looked at, like how to use the Cochrane Library, as well as many guides for how to use PubMed to find systematic reviews. And finally, how to cite reviews. This is specifically a link for how to cite Cochrane reviews in APA style. So remember that resources in the library are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We are available for live assistance during these days and times. And thank you for joining me here for our workshop on systematic reviews and meta-analysis.